So it's been a long time since I've done a video. Well, today I'm planning on doing a video with one of my more recent interest. I am doing kind of a self-paced training for search and rescue, taking all the lessons learned from previous training sessions. I'm going to try and do some light rappel, use some press sticks to be able to climb back up. I'm doing a kind of a shakedown of equipment since I've got a training exercise coming up, and I want to check all my gear before we go into this training environment. So that's what I'm planning on doing today. So I'm getting to the actual rappelling part of my exercise today. What I have here is some 30-foot piece of webbing, and I have it in a nice daisy chain. So I'm just gonna release that from the daisy chain. There you go. And I'm gonna make a seat harness out of this. So first things first, I'm gonna find the center of the webbing. So get the two ends. Now let's put a finger between the two pieces. I want to make sure the webbing is flat and that there's no bends to it. So basically my finger will reach the loop. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to put it over my head, like so. Take the webbing and pass it through my leg. And on the other side, so it's looped in, like so, like so. And do the same for the other side. There you go. So then I'm going to take the piece I looped over my head. I'm going to bring it down. Better angle. There you go. So I'm going to take it, and I want to get I'm pulling it inward and pulling it out. What you should have is about a fist size gap there. I'm going to bring it around my waist, bring it back forward, and then bring it and loop. Continue to loop it. I'm going to continue to loop it around until I get to a point where I don't have enough to completely go around. I'm going to create a square knot. Alright, got my square knot. And I'm going to create a safety knot around that on each end, and that's just a overhand knot. You want the safety knot as close to the end of the square knot as possible. There you go. Now the other ends, I'm just going to loop it underneath this. And here's the fun part. Take your carabiner, go through all the loops, including this one, just like so. And now I got myself a harness so I can go and do rappelling with this. Alright, so now I'm going to do the anchor. And I'm going to do a wrap 3 and pull 2. So again, I got a 30-foot piece of webbing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it around this tree. I'm going to wrap it around 3 times, as close to the base as possible. But I'm going to create a water knot. So in here I'm going to create that overhand knot. And on this side here, take that and follow the path of the previous knot. And there is our water knot. Like I said, I'm going to do a safety knot, so I'm going to do it overhand. I'm going to get that as close to the original knot as possible. Alright, so it's called a wrap 3 pull 2 because I'm going to take this and this end and I'm going to pull those out. And there's our anchor. Now what this is going to do, it's going to use the friction. So it actually is not putting much pressure or any pressure on that knot. So the knot is actually pretty safe. And I'm going to put a locking carabiner on here. I'm not ready to lock it down actually right yet because I'm going to put my anchor rope, I'll put my rope, double figure 8, and this is great for an anchor because I got two ends that are on the carabiner. I'm going to lock it and let off just a tad. So then that's locked and it's not over tightened, so as you put pressure on it, you can still be able to undo it. Now for the tail end of the rope, just for extra safety, I'm not actually on a really steep decline or anything like that, but it's just out of safety because I'm the only one out here. I'm going to do a double fisherman's knot. And this will act as a safety because I'm using Prusik. The Prusik won't be able to go through that. So there you are. So I mentioned I was going to use the Prusik. This is a Prusik. It's just two double fisherman's knots that tie a rope into a loop. It's a short piece of cord. So loop it and then pull from there. So when you put that through your carabiner, and it's going to be hard to see, that forms this perfect knot to rappel with. So basically this acts as a friction device, and if you switch it the other way, it should go the other direction. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to pull from one side of the rope. That way the Prusik, the actual knot that holds together the double fisherman's, is not in the way. We're going to dress the knot so it's nice and neat and recognizable. There we go. There's our Prusik. I should be able to see this in action. Look at the Prusik as the backup. The Gunter knot here. Got my line here, and I'm controlling that by either letting loose. Now I have to keep my hand here because if I let go, the Prusik takes hold, and I can actually let go of this, and my entire weight goes to the Prusik. But if I do that too quickly, it actually will lock the knot up and you have to take pressure off. Like right now, that's kind of hard. But there we go. You just control the descent going straight down. All right, so I'm basically at the end of my line. I actually am set up for ascent as it stands, so I actually got all my weight on the prusik. I'm going to undo the other line here because I don't need the descender. But to assist in ascending, I'm going to put another prusik line on here. So now I got a double prusik. So what that does, pull that forward, I got a grip. So now I can push that forward, get myself up here, take the other prusik, and transfer the weight. Descend, slide this all the way up, transfer the weight, and continue to ascend. So if you had a really steep incline that you do not feel comfortable climbing up, but it's not a straight vertical, and there you have frequent points that you can be able to stop. This is a great system to be able to ascend. It's not fast, I'll give you that, but it is safe. Now the reason I have it the way I do, one is the pole, the other is your safety. So that is actually connected to me through my seat harness. So if I were to let go of this, or if I were to trip up or fall, I have my safety line, and that's what's going to rescue me, or that's going to prevent me from falling. All right, one last thing to show is how to make an anchor just out of a standard rope. I got the double figure-8 knot still in it. I got a carabiner, although technically you could do this without even the carabiner and just tie even a single figure-8. In fact, I'll show you how to do that. So if you're with minimal amount of equipment and you need to be able to make an anchor and rappel down that same line, that's essentially what this is going to allow you to do. So give me a moment. All right, so I'm going to wrap this around this rope 3 times over, and this is the 3rd line over. All right, so bring it all down as close as you can to the base. You're going to make your figure-8 knot, and you're going to turn it into a follow through. And I probably should have left a little bit more room to put a safety knot on, but I'm just doing it for demo purposes. In fact, on this one, because of the friction on the tree, there's actually no weight on this. So this is actually the safety right here, because with as many pass-throughs as you have, it takes out all the slack, and the friction across the tree is what actually holds it in place. So this should actually not be tight at all if it's working properly. Now, you could do what I was doing before, or was going to do, which is you have a figure-8 and you could just put a carabiner on it then put a carabiner on there. Same concept. Well, you got your figure 8 is not what's attached to the rope, so you got a carabiner. So if you think you're going to need to transfer your anchor point fairly rapidly, you could be able to go. Pull it off. I'm able to use that as an anchor at a later point. So these are very good for, these are both very good anchor points for trees in the area in which I'm in. This is actually the preferred method because there's tons of trees everywhere. You can find some good heavy duty old trees, you know, 20, 25, 50 years or older, pretty easily around here. So going and find an anchor point or a tree to be able to put an anchor on is not a hard thing around here. Anyway, that's it for the anchors.